On the phone with me, I have a special guest, and I was just talking to him off air. We don't necessarily do a political show here, mostly music. We do talk a little bit politics and things like that. And I invite politicians on a regular basis, and rarely does anybody ever take me up on it. I don't know, maybe that says something about me. But I'm pleased to have on the phone with me Eric Greitens, who is one of the, you're one of 4 Republican candidates for governor? Is that what it is, Eric?
That's right, Brad, exactly.
Now, Eric is interesting in that I've met Eric once before. He was a guest speaker at our Fallon Chamber of Commerce, I guess, about 3 or 4 months back. Eric is an interesting guy, probably one of the most impressive speakers I've heard in a long time. Eric has an interesting background. You have a Ph.D., correct?
Correct.
And you're a former Navy SEAL. Or is it like a Marine? Are you always a Navy SEAL?
Yeah, we think of ourselves as Navy SEALs because we want to carry those values our entire life. But that's exactly right, Brad. I was honored to serve as a Navy SEAL, did 4 deployments in the global war on terror.
Now, you are running for governor, and this is the way it works in Missouri. We have the primary, and you're one of 4 Republicans. Whoever wins that goes on to the general in November. You have 3 other people running against you. You're the only guy who's never been elected political office.
Yeah, that's right, Brad. Look, I'm a Navy SEAL. I'm an entrepreneur, native Missourian. I'm a husband and father. My wife, Sheena, and I actually are very fortunate. We have a 22-month-old son, Joshua, and just now we have a 1-week-old son, Jacob, who just joined us last week.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's a beautiful time and a busy, wonderful summer for us. But you're exactly right, Brad. I've never run for office before, but I'm running for a very simple reason, and that is that our government is broken, and it simply does not serve the people of Missouri the way that it should. I mean, you look around and you see the crises at Ferguson, the crises at the University of Missouri. You look at what's happening in our economy. We're 47th in economic growth over the course of the last decade, and you mentioned my service as a Navy SEAL. I also, when I came back home from Iraq, I started an organization called The Mission Continues to work with my returning veterans, helping them to come back home and get quality private sector jobs, to start their own businesses, to live lives of purpose and dignity and meaning. In doing all of that work, I think it's become clear to me, and I think to all of your listeners, that we deserve better leadership in government. And you're right. My opponents combined have been in 20 different elections. They represent the status quo.
And you're a newbie. This is the first one for you.
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. I've been involved in public service. I've run my own business. I've served in the military. I've run this organization, The Mission Continues. But I've never been involved in politics before. But I think there comes a time in all of our lives when we need to make a decision that we're going to stand up and make a difference. And I think what's become really clear to folks, and one of the reasons why people are so excited about this campaign, is that for the first time in a long time, they have the opportunity in this election to get behind a real leader.
Well, and
the choice in the Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
No, what I was going to say was sort of interesting about this is, and maybe I'm going to draw a parallel that you don't want drawn, but if you look at for the presidential race with Donald Trump, it's because, Trump's an interesting character, but some people are just going like, okay, we need somebody from the outside. We don't need one of these guys who's been in office and they go from this office to this office to this office. Do you feel that on a statewide as well, too? Because obviously it's present on the American scene.
Absolutely, Brad. People want a leader. People want somebody who's getting results, and they like my campaign because we're willing to tell it like it is. Look, I'm the only candidate in this race who's willing to say that Jefferson City is corrupt, and it is. Look, we've got a bunch of career politicians and corrupt insiders and lobbyists whose priorities have been taking the state in the wrong direction. And look, when I'm governor, I've said very clearly that we're going to ban all gifts from lobbyists, that we're going to close the revolving door between legislators and special interests, that we're going to put in place term limits for every statewide office holder. And so what's happened is that the choice in this election has become really clear. You've got one guy, the only guy who's never run for office before, versus his opponents who've been in 20 different elections. And look, if people are happy with the results they're seeing from government, then They can vote for any of my opponents, Republican or Democrat, but if they are like me, if they're outraged by the failures in government, if they're fed up with the political establishment, and they're just tired of the self-serving politicians who are just looking at the next fundraiser, the next perk, or a free meal from a lobbyist, or they're just looking at the next election, I invite them to join me, and then go out to ericgreitens.com, join this movement, because we know, Brad, that with strong conservative leadership from outside of the political establishment, we can turn Missouri around and we can put an end to politics as usual.
Eric, I appreciate you coming on this morning. If people want to get in contact with you, maybe help you out, how do they do that?
Brad, we'd love to have them come out to ericgreitens.com. That's ERICGREITENS.com. Come out, find out more information. We're having a lot of fun. Join us, volunteer with us, come out to an event, learn more about the campaign there, and we'd welcome them to join this team.
Eric Greitens on the ballot in August for the Republican nomination for governor. And by the way, if nobody else told you today, thank you for your service.
Brad, thank you very much. I appreciate that.